Welcome again to part two of America's Third Party Show tonight. Thank you for coming in. This is a regular event sometimes when we actually break our show up because of malfunctions. Sometimes there's too much coming at our show. We've got about 40 links open and I don't have enough RAM to really carry it. 16 gigabytes isn't quite enough. So sometimes my program crashes, which gives me an opportunity to bring up new ideas and talk about how we're the best choice for 2020. Yeah. Tonight we're going to be looking at some rock and roll live after our show. And we've got the Beach Life Festival, which is a big event coming up this weekend. And we're going to be playing some of this for you. Here's a live event capture of the Beach Life Festival in Redondo Beach, California.
Never stop now. Never stop now.
Kind of a punky rock and roll experience we'll be bringing you later tonight. Okay, great. Today's obvious shakeup was from the House Judiciary Chairman Jerry Nadler, a Democrat from New York, who is openly discussing possibly citing contempt against William Barr, our Attorney General, if he doesn't present the 448 pages. Yeah, you like that? I told you I was going to comb my hair the other way. This is how I do it. Yeah, thank you. And he spoke very eloquently about how he will be using the full force of his position, which is greater and more powerful than the Attorney General.
Do you really need committee lawyers to question him?
Your colleagues have called for Barr to resign today. Do you join them in that sentiment?
Well, I think he's going to have to answer for apparently testifying untruthfully in both the Senate and the House, and that's certainly one option.
So will you start contempt proceedings about not
Sorry?
getting, will you start contempt proceedings for not getting the unredacted Mueller report?
That's what I said.
What about for not?
What about for not appearing?
That's down the road. That's down the road. We haven't issued a subpoena for him to appear yet.
You're not planning to do that tomorrow?
I didn't say that.
Yeah, once they actually issued a subpoena for him to appear, William Barr, then he would recline because he didn't go to today's hearing and he was supposed to be there. If William Barr can't face the music of scrutiny from top attorneys investigating him, then he doesn't deserve to be our Attorney General. I still think Jeff Sessions did the right thing by recusing himself on the Russian thing. William Barr should have done the same. Big mistake. Big mistake. And he could be charged with serious crimes if he tries to obstruct anymore by claiming there's no obstruction. I mean, really. William Barr acts like he's the final word. Believe me, the Democrats were voted into office in the midterms just to get the impeachment ball rolling. And some people like Joe Biden and Elizabeth Warren are carrying that torch. Wisely so, if you ask me. All right, so people are wondering, what are we about? What is this show about, and why do we do it? Well, we've got a whole variety of things that just make sense for us. Questioning authority, getting back to what really matters in America. Now, you'll notice that Donald Trump won't prosecute the Clintons. He's part of the deep state. He's not going to go after the Clintons. He's already proven that he doesn't have any desire whatsoever to prosecute Clinton. It's kind of like how he was with Barack Obama's birth certificate. It was convenient for him to claim he was questioning his birth certificate just to get elected, and then after he got elected, he just dropped it like a lead balloon. Eric Holder, contempt of Congress? Sure. Yeah. What, for Fast and Furious? Yeah, but he used executive privilege to hide from that. William Barr can't. William Barr wrote a 19-page letter to Rod Rosenstein implicating him in this entire event, trying to drop obstruction charges ahead of the investigation, and then declaring with a 4-page letter that he didn't obstruct, and then asked if Mueller agreed. He said, yeah. when Mueller didn't agree, and Mueller wrote a letter which clearly makes William Barr a liar and will be charged with contempt if he doesn't present that 448 unredacted document. And I want to know what's in the redactions. I mean, we will never know. Congress is going to find out, but we'll probably guess something to do with a sex tape, PP video, something like that. Hey, Dr. Hysterectomy's in. How are you? Like I said, he used executive privilege. The contempt charge didn't stick. William Barr can't. He can't hide under executive privilege. It's about the president obstructing justice. You can't claim executive privilege and hide under that excuse. But yeah, Eric Holder did. No, he can't. No. In fact, if he's held in contempt, it'll turn out to be an impeachment of the Attorney General, overtaking what Trump can do, at least in the House, and then it goes to the Senate for a final justice. It's going to come down to the Republicans. Are they willing to abandon Donald Trump in hopes that maybe they might salvage their party after we find out that they've been working with the Russians ever since? This past week, I exposed that Lindsey Graham was receiving $800,000 to get reelected in his post. Zeno, that you can't come in and type that many times. Sorry. Yeah, look at Lindsey Graham. This is an article that really makes you wonder, why is he standing up in protection of Trump right now? Well, it turns out that Russian money could be behind Graham's growing defense of Trump. Senator Lindsey Graham accepted $800,000 from donors close to and connected with at least 2 Russian oligarchs. Can you believe that? No, I'm leading the news on MSNBC. They follow me. There is a difference. Lindsey Graham is literally receiving $800,000 from the Russians, and of course he says that Trump did no wrong. You know who else is receiving money from the Russians? Mitch McConnell. A lot of money. He's the guy that purposely put Brett Kavanaugh in and made sure that nomination went forward. Turns out Brett Kavanaugh passed a law in 2011 authorizing foreign governments like Russia to make donations to congressmen and women. So it's all part of this collusion, this total collusion that's going on here. It's like an old boys network, and they're all protecting their Trump-Putin connection. Oh yeah, Putin is totally in charge of this operation, but he gets a lot of money to be in charge. The people that pay him and control Putin, because Putin's so greedy, have given him $200 billion. Here's a man who was doled out an opportunity by Trump. While he said he wasn't connecting business with Russia, he was openly offering Vladimir Putin a $50 million penthouse suite in a Moscow Trump hotel. And Putin was all over it. He wanted it. You call that a communist? That guy is the big capitalist, and all he wants is to pad his own pockets. He's made over $200 billion. He makes Donald Trump's little teeny amount of money, $3 billion, that's all he's worth, into nothing. It's chump change. Donald Trump couldn't even shine Putin's shoes. He doesn't have enough money. Russians aren't happy with Putin, but Putin has total dictatorial control over their country and has been able to stifle any and all people raising contention to him. Look at Navalny, the guy who was openly discussing Nastia, the woman who had solid proof of Russian contamination of our election. Nastia had to hand over all that to Deripaska, the oligarch that Trump has been getting support from. All that evidence Nastia had is gone. Yeah, this is a very interesting little case where they keep covering up after everything pops out. It's like a zit control after you popped your pimple. You immediately cover it up with Coverall or Clearasil. Yeah, but you know there's a big, huge bump in your face that you can't explain to people. Yeah, it's that big pimple. This is a big pimple for Donald. It's a massive pimple on his nose. It's called Russian collusion. And no matter what he says in denial, he's still completely complicit in Russian collusion. And they can't cover up. The Republicans are saying, why do you keep talking about this? This is over. It can't be impeached. Yes, you can. And just because criminal acts haven't been fully examined by Mueller and he gave you a pass on all the investigations, Paul Manafort's second trial never went forth, which means we never found out about the Russian money laundering with the real estate purchases that were made a year before Trump became president. Trump is now trying to send his attack dog lawyers after any effort to see any of his money from Deutsche Bank and the $1 billion he owes them, as well as Capital One and other debtors that he currently is, the debtees, I should say, that he's currently a debtor for. Yes, and General Kelly is invested in a company that puts children in internment camps. He's invested. John Kelly is openly becoming a partner in an effort to build warehouses for illegal immigrants. It's all a big circle. It's all about the money. That's why Trump took all these children and separated from their families so they could be exploited for cash. God knows what happened to these people. They're probably in sexual, at rape trees being transported over the border. Or maybe they're already here. Who knows? A lot of children are being violated at the border. And we're having people die because of bad care. Trump is mishandling the border completely, and he hasn't built a single foot of fencing. That's a total lie. There's no fencing out there. I'm working on a plan to build this container wall. Even talk about my ocean pipeline. Yeah. Container fence could be easily built for $1 billion, but Trump hasn't done diddly squat. Yeah, there you go. You know, it's not about 6 million Jews dying in Auschwitz and Treblinka and Dachau. It's about the overwhelming death of people during World War II caused by Adolf Hitler. So you're fixated on a number, that's not going to lead you anywhere. What you have to realize is that the Balfour Declaration, which was the effort to create Israel, came out in 1917. And Hitler was a Zionist just like Donald Trump is a Zionist. That's what you need to keep in your mind, that the Nazis embedded themselves in our government and are now working through the Republican Party. And Donald Trump, as you know, read all of Hitler's speeches when he was going to bed at night, according to a deposition from Ivana Trump, his former wife, who said he slapped her around. It's all in the deposition, the former deposition that she recanted after she settled out of court. But it was public. Yeah, Donald Trump liked to read Hitler's speeches. Donald Trump is to America as Adolf Hitler was to Germany. And if you don't believe that, then maybe you should turn on MSNBC and go back to bed or have another drink. Because you have no clue as to how the Nazis have invested heavily in our country and are still at it, big time. The Ashkenazis. They're all over Trump. They're everywhere. They make money on him. He's a sucker for people that love to take money. Your average Trump tard, typical idiot, has no clue. Yeah, I know. He's on the board of a company that kid cages, border internment camps. I know. I just broke the news just a few minutes ago. Trump is just a person that they like because they can manipulate him. It's that simple. He likes money. Unlike him, I am not buyable. I had a person call me the other night and said, Dave, you know, money's everything. Money's everything. Everything is money, man. The whole world, you got to make money, man. Money's everything. It's like, what the hell is wrong with somebody that thinks that money's everything? There's so many other things in life besides money. Like getting a girlfriend, having a real relationship. But money, oh no, money's everything to that person. You people with all this money, look at Zeno. He's an incel. He can't even buy a date. He's never had sex, and he's got lots of money. He's an involuntary celibate, and he's wealthy, right? You inherited a lot of money, and you can't even buy a girlfriend. Trump is a giant pimple on America's ass. So true, so true. And there's no covering up that pimple. It just it metastasizes. It's festering. Well, that's because you haven't had a girlfriend. You've had psychos as your girlfriends. You need to get a real person who's not a psycho. Yeah, Zena's rich and you can't even buy a decent girlfriend. Unreal. This world is becoming weirder and weirder. Hey, you want to hear Mr. Right? How about Mr. Right Light? Here we go.
Mr. Right, Mr. Right, too good to be true.
Where Senator Obama exited the limousine, $250, which was provided to him by you.
You sweep me off my feet, my heart stops to beat, cause you make me melt away. You're Mr. Right, too good to be true.
All right, welcome to the Total Collusion channel on the internet, where we talk about Donald Trump's involvement with Russians and obstruction by all of his cronies every single night, because we're going to keep this thing rolling. Because I have seen the future, and it continues to talk about Donald Trump's collusion, because it's so deep that his connection to the oligarchs, to mobsters, you name it. It's just, he's steeped in this need for money. It's like a lust. It's a greed beyond any of our wildest imaginations. Donald is afflicted with this terrible disease of massive greed. Stalin was 5'5" and was paranoid. Yeah. You know who is Stalin, Joseph Stalin's food taster? Vladimir Putin. His father. Vladimir Putin's father was Joseph Stalin's food taster. That's right. Well, Vladimir Putin, when you look at his rise to power, he was like a rich kid in a Politburo communist world regime. They catered to this guy because his dad was the food taster of Joseph Stalin, so he was handpicked to be the little greedy monger that he is, running around the world like Adolf Hitler now, threatening everybody with missiles, claiming that we're good friends with Trump, while he threatens us with a missile that can go 27 times the speed of sound. Do you know what this is all about? This is about Vladimir Putin not having a lot of money and having to sell his services of crime worldwide to get more money and influence over every other country. He's a scared little man who wants to threaten the world with nuclear weapons. What kind of a person would have a normal conversation like Putin did today with Vladimir Putin? There's something wrong with Trump that he doesn't realize, that he's not talking to Vladimir Putin. He's talking to the handler of the New World Order. And now Putin has decided they're going to set up a new meeting with Kim Jong-un and Trump. Putin's been behind all the meetings in Singapore and Hanoi, and now he's got another one planned with no real denuclearization in progress, because Trump has already said that he doesn't believe that Kim Jong-un has any nuclear weapons because Putin told him so. That's our president who believes that. Donald Trump also believes whatever Kim Jong-un tells him. And Kim Jong-un said that he doesn't know anything about Otto Warmbier's death, where he came to us like a vegetable after being electrocuted, genitals being electrocuted, or God knows what caused his irreparable brain damage. But Trump believes and takes Kim Jong-un, a mass murderer who's killed 350 people, on his word. That's your president who believes, Donald Trump believes Kim Jong-un and Vladimir Putin over our own intelligence agencies. Yeah, you got a real winner. Trump really is the pimple, the giant pimple on America's ass. And it hurts every time we sit down. A guy rescues a kitten from a wildfire.
You see him laying up against the brick wall there. That was a house right behind that, a large house. And it's completely reduced to rubble. A half mile any direction, that was the only living creature we found. The Carr fire was the largest and most destructive fire we had in Shasta County ever. We heard the radio call come in for a kitten that was found in a burned out car. When we first got there, a tree had fallen down across the driveway, so we had to push past a tree to get up to where the kitten was. I don't think I would have survived what that cat survived.
Man. Yeah, he's in really bad shape.
God.
Look at cat. Come here. Where you at?
The car that he ends up running in and hiding in The aluminum wheels on that car are melted into liquid. It was a miracle that he was alive. I spent probably about 30
How is that
minutes calling to him.
Come here. Come on.
So I reached my bare hand back down into the hole. After about 10 seconds, I felt him lay his head in my hand. I was able to get my arm underneath his little body and pull him out of there. If he wouldn't have come up to me, I couldn't have gotten him. He chose to come to me, and in that moment, I knew if this cat survives, I'm gonna make him part of my family.
Oh my God. Can you believe that? Yeah. That was really touching. Yeah, that was just a spam attack, folks. Bear in mind. That is really touching. I'm going to play the rest of that video later, but wow. How did that cat survive the microwaves that were sent down there? He was probably inside of a metal container, and the metal container acted as a Faraday cage. That's my guess. Yeah. That's probably what happened, yeah. He was probably in like a Faraday cage when the microwaves hit. The directed energy weapons that killed all those people in Paradise, California. I know, you don't believe it? Well, the government's been covering up their ability to burn houses out right under our nose. So you wonder if Trump is involved with the Nazis? Check it out.
Lara Trump, endorser, Donald J. Trump for president, Ashkenazi Jew. Vanessa Trump, endorser, Donald J. Trump for president, Ashkenazi Jew. Kevin Warsh, member, President Trump's Strategic and Policy Forum, Ashkenazi Jew. Mark Weinberger, member, President Trump's Strategic and Policy Forum, Ashkenazi Jew.
The list goes on and on. All the Ashkenazis that are surrounding Donald Trump, just like Hitler. Himmler was an Ashkenazi. Goering was an Ashkenazi. Himmler, Hitler, Mueller, Ashkenazi. And just like we have a Mueller in our government, just like they had a Mueller who designed all the concentration camps that killed the Jews. I know.
Catching this last night is it's going to...
Space camera issues. Ooh, NASA's been tricking people with their camera work. We've spent $500 billion on NASA over the years. $500 billion, and all we got was a really good studio with great green screen effects. Okay, now this just came in. Apparently people who are criticizing Jewish people are considered anti-Semitic. Now, as you know, I'm an anti-Zionist. I like Jewish people. I just don't like the Nazis, the Ashkenazis. So this is a story about Representative Loie Nita saying it became law. Oh, there you go. Became law. You cannot in any way talk about Jewish people in a negative way. Wow, good to know. I'm glad I don't make fun of Jewish people. I like Jewish people. I dislike Ashkenazis, who aren't even Jewish. Their mother's mother isn't even really Jewish. You have to be related to Abraham to be truly a Jew. Everyone else is just a carbon, like a let's pretend wannabe Jews, like the Rothschilds. They were called court Jews. They weren't real Jews. They were assigned as court Jews. Okay, hang on just a second. I got a deuce to deal with. Little round top. 25,000 Confederates marched on machine guns. Yeah, that was very brave of them. Yeah, you guys are wasting your time trolling us. I don't understand why you'd bother that. We were trolled like this back when we started 10 years ago. It's like nothing new, man. As soon as we started it 10 years ago, we were trolled just like this. Even worse, actually. Blog TV had very little controls to stop mass attacks. You wouldn't believe what we had to go through. We had to go through an unbelievable hellfire to get to this point. So coming in now and trying to knock us off is absurd. Okay, we've got May the Force be with you. Jedi moves toward launch to space station. Okay, I guess I'll look at that later. I'm not really that interested in that show. Thank you. Pope Francis is here, everybody. Thank you, Pope Francis, for attending our show. As you know, I am very thankful that you prosecuted McCarrick. And I want you to know that, going after Cardinal Pell was a matter of extreme justice. I mean, here Cardinal Pell was trying to get accountability among homosexual pedophiles in the Vatican, and there you went ahead and called him out as a pedophile. That was quite a move, Pope Francis. But what's really interesting is now that you have called out over 100 priests in America, you are clearly listening to my requests, and I appreciate that. And I also know that you're getting a lot of flack for doing all this. And there's even an attempt to call you a heretic. I don't think you're a heretic. I don't. But you've got to rip down that Vatican that looks like a snake. Yeah, you've got to do something with that. The Vatican building is so snake-like that we're beginning to question who you're worshiping. Satan or Jesus? Your choice. Now, I'm not the judge. As you know, God is. So you'll have to find out what that judgment will be in the afterlife. But in the meantime, do something about the interior decorating here. I mean, this looks too much like a snake. And then those images of demons, and there's not one crucifix in the main room. I mean, come on. I mean, who builds a building that looks like a snake head? What's wrong with you? It's too weird. So you get that demolished, and then we can talk, okay? Thank you. Yeah, do something with it. Just demolish it. It needs to be brought down. It's an effigy to Satan or Lucifer. I don't know. I mean, it seems like the Vatican's worshiping Satan now, or Lucifer. Yeah.
Trump is a fucking idiot. Trump.
Lindsey Graham says openly that Trump is an effing idiot, yet now he supports him? After Lindsey Graham got $800,000 from the Russians to get re-election, you wonder who he's working for, America or Russia?
Trump is a fucking idiot. Trump is a fucking idiot. Trump.
Okay, thank you. I can only play 8 seconds of that, otherwise they monetize it. Yeah, it's like, who doesn't want to dance to that song? You know? Come on, get down and boogie. To Senator Lindsey Graham. Is he ever going to get married to his lover? And who is his lover, male or female? There was a controversy that he was gay back in 2007, but nobody's ever said anything about it since. His private life is his own. I don't care if he's a, carpet muncher or a butt plugger. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's irrelevant. He could be a lesbian for all I care. Hey, so as you know, we are supportive of legalization of marijuana, and I want everyone to know that all the benefits are clearly obvious. It is medicinal, therefore it should be pulled from the list of controlled substances. Trump is not listening to the American people, and that's why he shouldn't be reelected in 2020. The American people resoundingly said in a Gallup poll, over 64% support recreational marijuana legalization in America. Hello? I mean, it's as simple as that. What the hell's wrong with Trump and you Trump-tards? People are so out of it, it's unbelievable. You act like it's a dangerous substance. It's going to be a gateway drug. Some of our greatest leaders have smoked marijuana. Like Abraham Lincoln. My fellow Americans, I want everyone to know that if you toke up at least once a day, you'll have less trouble with your post-traumatic stress disorder. When Mary Todd went crazy, I don't know how I'd get through the day without smoking a doobie. But I did it, and gosh darn it, I'm still dead. Oh, sorry. I know, and Petoro, we need to get Pope Francis to realize it is medicinal. God made it for people, and God has spoken. So get it with the program, Pope Francis. Announce to your parishioners that you support legalization of marijuana, and it'll be a battle cry for all the Catholics to come to the aid of their countrymen. This Sunday is Cinco de Mayo. I will not be celebrating it. I'm going to a religious gathering on Sunday. Yes. 64% support legalization. Gallup poll, yes. 64%. I am not kidding. People realize the benefits of marijuana. It's always been beneficial. Firefox won't end. They're just being attacked by Google. And the entire network has realized that they're losing market share to powerful competitors like Firefox. Yeah, it's not to worry. You're freaking out. It's like Joe Biden at a children's event.
Yeah.
All right.
There's a couple people in the back.
Yeah, you can't see.
Whoa. Yeah. He likes to touch the children. He does. It just he didn't even realize it was bad. You know, improper to grab the kids. You know, and unnaturally trying to reach in and grab into their bra. He thought that was wrong. He didn't know. Now, Biden has to be played. If we don't get the truth will never be heard. Now, we lost a couple of great presidents because of powerful elitists overseas that hired hitmen. Like John Wilkes Booth. John Wilkes Booth got away with the crime of killing Abraham Lincoln. They say they got his body double, his ingenue, the man who he studied under him. But John Wilkes Booth survived and lived a long life, unlike Abraham Lincoln, who died young. I heard you can't touch this. Yeah, but I never thought I couldn't touch it. I just thought you can't touch it. But I touched it, and it felt good. What is that song about, you can't touch this? I never understood that. Is that like the White Men Can't Jump song? Yeah. Well, that was a movie, not a song. God. I got to remove this picture from behind. Hey, if you're worried about things happening in the world and you don't know what's going on, it's total collusion. That's what's happening. Just remember that. The recent Caliphate 2 that they're pushing, it's may or may not get migration forward, but I believe it's Zionist-led. They're trying to pretend like, you know, they've got the new green screen beheading things, just like the old ones. They're trying to pretend like real serious crimes are being committed by Muslims against Christians. And they want everyone to think that Muslims are the bad guys so that we continue funding a military apparatus that continues to receive credit and donations from our government. It's a big, huge plan to continue the military-industrial complex. Now, that's why Donald Trump has not pursued an IFN, Intermediate Force Nuclear Treaty. We haven't done that yet, and I don't think we're going to do it because Putin likes weapons, and we like weapons. It's good for business to kill people. Yeah, so the New World Order is all about driving wedges between left and right and rich countries and poor countries. That's why they're taking down Venezuela. That's why they installed Donald Trump in the presidency, because they want to control him. Now, we said this before that Papadopoulos, Manafort, Flynn, Roger Stone, Michael Cohen, Jared Kushner, and Donald Trump Jr. all met with Russians. All Trump's associates. Yep. But you're saying there was no collusion? According to the results of the 448-page Mueller report, Donald Trump tried 127 times to meet, his group met with Russians 127 times before the election. That's collusion. There's no way you can deny that. But they also want more war, so they liked having Donald Trump and Vladimir Putin in their pocket, but they also may just start a war between the Russia and the U.S. Imagine if the people that own Russia and own the United States want to have a war and test out the equipment. You know what that means for us? Death. Yeah. We get killed in the crossfire, and they get to test their weapons. That's what it's all about. That's the big game that they're playing. So the more you see terrorist events that happen allegedly with no bodies ever seen in the morgue, no open caskets, the more you're likely to believe that we need to keep fighting these Muslims and keep this continual war against terror happening. So you fall right into it as a dupe, as a typical voter who just does whatever you're told. Now remember, the Bushes started this whole thing. Their father, Prescott Bush, money laundered for Adolf Hitler. I mean, it doesn't get much more Nazi-like than that. And then they got us involved in Iraq and Afghanistan. And don't forget 9/11 and JFK dying and all that. So you got all that going for you. So the Nazis have pretty much embedded themselves in our country and are running operations now. Yeah. Now my father fought the, World War II. We fought the Japanese, but everyone else fought the Germans as well. And we thought we beat the terrible Nazi force, but we didn't even begin to touch the Nazi force. We had them come over here. They came over with Operation Paperclip, and we seated our country's top nuclear scientists, chemical, biological weapons engineers with Nazis. We brought the Nazis in, and we endorsed them. So clearly our country is being run by Nazis right now. That's why I say there's total collusion going on, and that's why we have a serious problem. It's not just about Donald Trump needing money. It's about them having leverage against him in every which way. They want to show his penis picture. According to the Mueller report, they didn't have a penis picture, but according to the Concord Management Company that got the deposition and inventory of what Mueller had, he has a penis selfie, or a sex selfie, I should say, of Donald Trump. So they've got that in play over Donald Trump. They've got the PP tape over Donald Trump, and they certainly have a lot of money that's been tossed his way, and they could lord over him with that money and the loans that he owes. He owes Deutsche Bank $1 billion. So if Donald Trump wanted to act like a guilty person, he couldn't act more guilty if he tried than what he's doing right now, having a private conversation with Putin today and not even mentioning the meddling in the 2016 election. To our face, he openly admitted to not mentioning the meddling and not wanting to stop the meddling in the 2020 election. Donald Trump is openly complicit with Vladimir Putin on every level. Yeah, it's kind of scary. But you got no clean slate on the Democrats. You got Biden, who's dirty. Not only has he lied numerous times in his life and cheated on when he passed the bar, but now details are emerging about a connection the Bidens had to the Ukrainian corruption scandal, where Biden got Barack Obama to hold $1 billion in foreign aid to Ukraine in abeyance as long as they did what Biden told him to do. And that means fire one of the prosecutors that was going after Biden's son, Hunter. And it does seem like Biden acted in total violation of U.S. law when he used his influence to manipulate Ukrainian politics to favor his son in a case that was pending regarding corruption. So Biden isn't clean either. There's all kinds of dirt there. Oh, yeah. Anyway, back to you in the chat room. What are you treating? Your plants are being treated with cider vinegar and hydrogen peroxide mixed with water? Okay. Is that helping to deal with the mold? There's natural ways of growing things that you definitely can help with mold. You have to do everything you can. This came up last week. The YouTube reality is that they're losing lots of money. The more they censor people, the more people get pissed off at YouTube. Now Alphabet had more than 70 billion in market cap wiped out, and it says YouTube is one of the problems. Yeah, so Alphabet's losing market share because YouTube keeps censoring things and censoring people. Yeah, It's no joke that YouTube is on a massive decline right now in ad revenue because people are walking from the network. YouTube is literally killing off their viewership. And companies like 153news.net are starting up and getting a lot of support and control. It's going to be a real interesting to see private networks take over when YouTube continues to get manipulated by government operations. They're trying to censor anybody who questions anything. Mad Professor, you're out of here. Never come back again. If you can't understand that Donald Trump is working for Russia, you need to get the hell out of this room. Yeah, we don't want anybody who doesn't understand the Russian connection because it's still migrating forward with a possible contempt charge laid against Bill Barr if he doesn't reveal the 448-page unredacted to Congress. You people are in for it. I'm telling you, you're traitors to this country. And anybody who supports Trump right now is an outright treasonous traitor to our nation. Trump has sold us down the river to the cheapest money he could find just to keep his business afloat. And you people fell for it. It's unbelievable. A man tries to put a stolen ATM on the bus in Newark. Check this out. Talk about outright criminals. Right in front of your eyes.
Very serious. You know, just looking really. Oh, you really going?
Tries to get in there, man. I paid my fare. We could have made money together. He said that. He wants to get the bus driver in on his criminal act of stealing an ATM. Can you believe these people? Thank you, Petoro, for bringing that link to us. What a scummy world we live in, man. I guess people really do care only about money. I don't want to talk to that person who calls me every time he talks to me. He calls me, he's like, how you doing, Dave? I don't want to talk to a guy that all he cares about money. What the hell? What kind of a person is that? It's a greed monger. That's what kind of person that is. And you know who I'm talking about. Don't bother calling me. You're wasting your time. Hey, this looks cool.
Never stop now.
Never stop now. Keep singing till you die. Burn out and fade away. Yeah. It sounds like a really great concert in Redondo Beach. I'm sorry I can't go. Oh, God. I thought the Deadheads were dead, but they're still around. Bob Weir is going to be at this concert. Yeah. Former Deadhead. The lineup looks pretty good, actually. Yeah, the venue's got Grace Potter. I've not seen her lately. Crow Flies, as the crow flies. Violent Femmes are going to be featured. Ziggy Marley is going to be at the event in Redondo Beach. It's going to be playing for over the next 3 days. It's today, tomorrow, the next day. Slightly Stupid, Acoustic Roots set. Jason Mraz is popular now. There's Bob Weir and the Wolf Brothers, the former Deadhead. Brian Wilson, well, he's got mental problems. His psychiatrist will be in attendance. And Willie Nelson and family. Here's a guy who keeps ticking, 86 years old, and all he can do is play music. To all the girls I loved before, each and every one. Oh, sorry. Yeah. His son Luke's going to be there too, I think. It'll be good. Good people, good pot. California. That's where it's at.
Wow, guys.
Wow.
OMG.
Oh my God.
WTF. SMH. It is May 3rd, 2019. Envy of the world. Unemployment, 49-year low. Wage hits $27 an hour. Wow. Stock market, endless rally. Trump approval, 50%. Envy.
Talk about BS. Well, Never Lose Truth is good at spotting BS. You know, to claim we have 4% unemployment is insane. It's judo statistics is what it is. The unemployment statistics are really 45%. I know, I do this little demonstration for people online. It doesn't take much. You don't have to be an expert at math to realize what I'm going to do here. I'll lay it out for you, okay? Very simple. Our country has 97 million people unemployed. That means your mom may be taking care of the kids. She's technically not employed. Okay? 97 million. We don't know what happened to Ghost. He's been gone for a long time. I don't know what happened to him. And the $97 million, judo statistics, they're called. There's a book called Judo Statistics. Get it. Yeah, it's a very, very interesting book. 97 million people out of a potential workforce of 215 million people, because, you know, like kids can't work. Old people who are collecting Social Security can't work, really. They can, but they can't, you know, be a big part of the work. So out of 97 million out of 215 million, you do a simple ratio, and you come up with the answer. It's 45% unemployment in America. Not 4%, 45% unemployment. Don't let the statisticians lie to you like this. Yeah, well, even a calculator can't hide the truth. You don't need to know math. Just look at the calculator, okay? Thank you. Whoa. Yeah, let's just be real here, shall we? Okay, back to you in the studio. What studio? Yeah, I don't have a studio. All right, well, this has been great fun. I impersonated Abraham Lincoln. Kids should not be forced to work. No, and the only way you can get your kids to work is to actually put them to work. If you have a family and you're an employer and you don't want to pay your kids anything, you can actually force them to work for you. And there's no child labor laws that prevent that from happening. It's the one way in which the American people can find extra work from people in their family. I would have had Mary Todd work. She drove me crazy just talking about like a nutcase all around the house, and the kids were running around. No wonder I died young. Yeah, so if you want to seriously get child labor going, you have to have kids in your family to work. I mean, if you're running a restaurant and your kids can serve, you're able to get around child labor law, technically. I'm not trying to help people, you know, exploit kids, but you can't exploit kids otherwise. Yeah, I would not recommend exploiting children. Now, getting back to the most important thing on earth, legalizing marijuana. Something about Trump, it doesn't ring right. It's like he doesn't understand the needs of our culture, and he certainly doesn't recognize the benefits of marijuana. Oh, no, don't do the Sinatra group. No, not again. No, no, no. We've had too much of that. Jeez. Every time you come in here, you talk about Sinatra, like you're some big star or something. That clip's no longer available. It's been taken down, okay? It's no longer a live link. Jeez. Easy, baby. You're going to make Sinatra into an old legend that nobody will remember him after you keep doing the Sinatra thing. Most people don't even know who Frank Sinatra is. Yeah, don't kid yourself. Most people don't even know who Elvis Presley is. A hard-headed woman, soft-hearted man, been the cause of trouble ever since the world began. Oh, yeah, yeah. Thank you very much. But no, seriously, people are forgetting even the Beatles. In a few years, nobody will know that the Beatles were a propaganda group put out by the Tavistock Institute to control our brains. Yeah, there's a lot of evidence to suggest the Beatles weren't just a bunch of guys from Liverpool that met in Hamburg and liked to play music. They were solicited by an organization that worked directly for the Nazis. I'm not kidding. Tavistock Institute. It used the Beatles to create mind control. And you wouldn't know that because your brain is already controlled. So even me talking about it is landing on deaf ears. You don't even comprehend it, actually. Ladies and gentlemen, the Tavistock Institute. The agenda of the Tavistock Institute.
One of the things you talked to me about the other day was the Beatles. Well, the Beatles were the creation of the Tavistock Institute. And you know, you have to go back to your college days on the writings of Aristotle. And I made a note this morning before I came on this program of what he said about music and its influence on politics. He said, emotions of any kind are produced by melody and rhythm. Therefore, by music, a man becomes accustomed to feeling the right emotions. Music has the power to form character, and the various kinds of music based on the various modes may be distinguished by their effect on character. One example, working in the direction of melancholy, another in the direction of femininity, one encouragement, abandonment, another self-control, another enthusiasm, and so on through the series. And what I discovered was that the actual Tavistock Institute took this theme, and they said, we are going to put this into practice. And well before Theo Adorno, who was the creator of the Beatles, arrived in England, he was already well known to Tavistock. And he was offered a facility at Scotland at Gordonstoun School, where the royalty were educated. And as soon as he landed he had to flee Germany because he's tinkering with the minds of children through music. And he was known as the Karl Marx of music, and his theoretical music of composing music was adapted from another musical radical, a guy called Alban Berg, who had challenged the tonality of contemporary traditional music sounds. And Adorno claimed he was on a higher awareness where every music work he composed, he said, was likely to be difficult to understand and shock people. And he called his sound, I think he said, was corrosive and unacceptable. And he adapted it from a strange music that was produced by a cult called the Cult of Dionysus.
That segment was for people that do lip reading. Someday, when my videos will be archived in the future, many people will wonder what I said during that time period. And what I try to do is give really secrets out without giving you audio. So I reserve some of the most sensitive subjects to my lip reading period. I hope you realize that, yeah, it's designed to help people in the future really understand what's happening when they learn how to read my lips. Some of you who do read lips can understand what I'm saying when I do that. I didn't want to go into too much detail because, in case you didn't know, there's a lot of national security involved in what I just presented just now. So I really can't discuss much of it. The government doesn't want us to know about Tavistock. Yeah. They don't want to know the nitty-gritty. They don't want us to know why we turned a wonderful peace and love movement into a drug-infested hellhole of orgastic sex. Yeah, dirty carnality and drug infestation. The entire 60s movement in the eyes of young people today is seen as kind of a joke, like it's a bunch of drug heads. Not a peace movement, not an anti-violence movement, just a bunch of drug heads drunk on drugs of any sort. So that's Tavistock. In 5 years' time, the Beatles captured our attention with the most incredible music, and a lot of it was produced by other people besides the Beatles. But the Beatles in 1965 represented the clean-cut Americans. And you looked at these guys like, wow, they were English, but who doesn't like that, you know? Here they all are holding inverted crosses, the sign of Satan. Yeah. Nice. See, the Illuminati had people doing this Satan stuff. That's 1965, right? Okay, now let's take a look at 1969 Beatles, just 4 years later. Yeah, you're going to see quite a difference here. And this is how they changed and molded the minds of people. They thought everyone was an acid head. So this was a viral image of the Beatles meeting the Maharishi, tripped out on LSD. By the time this whole thing was finished, everybody who believed in the peace movement also believed that you have to do acid to get high and become a drunk and a drug addict. So everybody all devolved into drugs. And that's how Tavistock controlled our minds. We did that, yeah. We allowed the Beatles to become an international success, and we encouraged it. Remember when, the inevitable Ed Sullivan, ladies and gentlemen, from Liverpool, London, the Beatles. You know, when he did that, that was a great time in America. But they basically were total mind screw jobs. And to this day, I still like listening to their music because I too was brainwashed. Okay, Forbes has good positive note about hemp. To showing you how completely out of it Trump is, he supports no legalization at all. He doesn't care about marijuana or cannabis. Even though 64% of the country, according to a Gallup poll, support legalization, he doesn't. Now here, industrial hemp is a win-win for the economy and the environment. That's right. Once a dominant crop of the American landscape, this hardy and renewable resource, one of the earliest domesticated plants known with roots dating back to the Neolithic age in China, was refined to create applications, paper, textiles, cordage. Now they can be used to create health foods, organic body care, clothing, construction materials, biofuels, plastic composites, and more. Yeah, and if only we got a president that was all about legalization. But oh no. Okay, we got another video. Right. We got a really good one from Scissor Fight here. A really big shoe.
What?
That's the Never Lose Truth one. Okay, great. So we support legalization here. Thank you. Now, let's go back to the live concert in Redondo Beach. It's getting dark. Oh, tune in tomorrow. It's over. Oh, okay. So we won't pick up on the Beach Fest until tomorrow. It's been. I'd have to go back and play it. I will later. Okay. Beach Life Festival is going on over the weekend. We'll be featuring it tomorrow as well. Redondo Beach, California. High Tide Stage. Bet they're going to be playing, like serving a lot of beer. No doubt. I, as you know, do not drink. Which is a problem for some people who do drink. Because they wonder, why aren't you drinking, dude? Because I don't like to drink. Did you hear about that one disaster concert thing? No, I totally didn't. Like, for sure. Like, huh? What? Hey, we didn't even get into the fake Paul story tonight. I mean, I could spend an hour or two talking about Paul and how the guy was replaced. That's Bill Campbell. He was the replacement for Paul. Paul McCartney died in 1966, November 9th. And Bill Campbell was a very famous studio musician. He actually won an award impersonating Paul McCartney. The strangest thing is they put an impersonation contest together 9 months before Paul McCartney was killed. And they found this guy who's William Shears Campbell to replace him. And he's a 66% match facially with all the surgeries he's had. But can you imagine if they had announced that Paul McCartney had died in 1966, women would have killed themselves. They loved him so much. So in a way, it kind of saved a lot of young women from dying, I think. Now everyone has been wondering about what we're going to do to deal with Biden, because he seems to be avoiding any real questions about his indecent touching of children. I don't know. I mean, he seems to have evaded the number one accusation of him getting near a 13-year-old and saying how it made him horny. Okay. We interrupt this broadcast to stop the broadcast. Come on in here. See, he likes to touch children. Look at that. Oh, he smells them too.
Okay, right here. Here's the official. Now, guys.
If the question is convenience.
Oh, there it is.
Come on in here. Come on. You mind if I take he asked if they could watch that. He asked if he could take the girl for a single photograph. Look at this.
Dad's gonna stand pretty close.
Oh, jeez. By the way, if I were young and I had to choose parties.
What did he say? He wanted to have her over at his house for a party. It's like, what a weirdo. Yeah, and now in 10 minutes we will introduce the FlexTrek click method. FlexTrek click method has been world renowned, and we'll, even though I don't endorse the product, we are going to feature that after our recorded broadcast. And everything we've done and said so far has not been supported by Vladimir Putin or Donald Trump, just so you know. We are not working for the Russians, unlike Trump and the Trump-tards. We don't represent Russia. We don't encourage Russia to continue contaminating our election. Donald Trump did today on the phone. My type of girl, my type of woman is Sarah. Sarah represents my type of woman. Yeah. There was a brunette that I was very attracted to back in the 80s that I saw in... Sarah was born in, 78, so she was just a little girl then. But I saw this woman at a bookstore in Westwood, California. And you probably don't remember her because she's, an actress from way back, but her name was Catherine Ross. It is Catherine Ross. And she looked straight at me in the bookstore. And, I mean, she gave me that look. And I was like 20. And when you have an actress, she was the Stepford wife, the original Stepford wife, Catherine Ross was. When you have an actress that is looking straight at you and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do next? I just froze. And here I could have, gotten to know Catherine Ross back then when I was 20. Maybe I missed out on a great opportunity, but instead I'm attracted to Sarah, who I find very attractive as a brunette, and that's the kind of woman I'm attracted to. So there you have it. Yeah. I've met a lot of women who fit that similar look, believe it or not. Yeah. I have some lost love stories. It's true. I think everybody does. Things you could have said or didn't say, women you could have dated that you didn't date, you know, these kind of things. I'm glad I didn't pursue a romantic relationship with one woman that I knew in college. Had I pursued a romantic relationship with that woman I knew in college, it would have been devastating. There's Sarah. See how similar her look is? See that? It's pretty similar. You know, you got to admit, their eyes are different, but see? But had I pursued a romantic relationship with a woman I was involved, just as a friend in college, it would have been devastating because she was one of these women that, you know, she does attracted men, and it was like a black widow. Men would, you know, lose it around this woman, and luckily I never got intimate with her, so I'm happy I didn't. Yeah, Jennifer Garner, I just read an article. She was on the cover of a major magazine, People magazine. After divorcing Ben Affleck, she has made the People cover. Now, how many times has she been on People? I don't know. Probably more than any other person on earth, but yeah, she's definitely a very attractive woman. Here's the most recent cover of Jennifer Garner. Yeah. You know what I found interesting? I read this whole article the other day at a doctor's office. Not my doctor. I don't have a doctor. I don't want a doctor, but I'm grateful every day, she says. And I read that she came from West Virginia. She had, I believe, West Virginia was her childhood. Well, this site seems to use a lot, I think. Yes, they do. I was geeky looking back in the day. I don't think so. No. Jennifer Garner was never told that she was pretty. Isn't that amazing? She grew up never knowing that she was a pretty woman. Yeah, I mean, and when you find out that somebody who has such talent, and she really was amazing in all the movies she's been in. Alias was the number one that I can remember of. But she's always, in my mind, been, a really pretty woman, and I think she is. I think she's very pretty. But she was never told she was pretty when she was growing up. It was kind of interesting. So she never had that. Thank you. She never had that belief that she was special. And that's the quality that makes women who are really pretty really attractive to men. Because they don't think they're really pretty. Seriously. I know that sounds really strange, but I mean, I'm sorry that she wasn't treated as though she was pretty, but it's that not realizing you're pretty that makes you most attractive to men. Because men don't like women who think they're so cute. I consider her a very pretty woman. Absolutely. You can watch me at coolrock.com if you want to check out our Cool Rock site. It's pretty cool. I created it so that you can play fun stuff online and watch the show. I'll show you it. Pretty interesting site if you haven't seen it already. Coolrock.com.
In a world where bass rules the planet and its inhabitants worship sound, two superpowers collide.
We bring you a nightly soundscape of incredible music. Join us at coolrock.com and watch virtual chat, great music, and interactive news links.
Okay, so everything was lip synced on that one. Here's a community. If you want to go check it out, it's using one of the most unique interfaces on the internet. Everything here you can move around, anything you want. It's all your customizable. You've got our YouTube channel link here. You've got Scissor Fights Music 1 and 2. And you've got Web Oasis, which is an incredible portal to the entire internet. Gives you access to every aspect of the internet that you'd never find anywhere else except at Web Oasis. And then we go to the interactive live show. You can watch that. And you can catch chat rooms from both sides. We've got chat rooms from here as well. and Vaughn chat room, also on the same page. Now, if you like any one of our interactive video or any type of art or music system, you can actually move that right up to the page where the chat is. Here we have an interaction with artificial intelligence playing a piano. That's what it engineers. So I'm going to give it 3 notes and the computer will respond with more than 3 notes. Oh, there's 1 note. Okay. You can actually interact with an AI system. Here you can use your keyboard to play by hitting the play button. And here you can actually drop down here. You've got a drum machine. You can actually play drum music and enjoy the drum experience. And we also got a box here you can look at, harp capability. And again, any of these sites that you want to X out of, you can do, and you can bring up boxes from below. Here I've got Mr. Doob, which is an incredible site with all kinds of incredible 3-dimensional graphics that use web-related abilities to create these cool effects. Every single one of these has a unique effect. And like I said, you can X out of any box you want and refresh to restore. The whole page comes right back to normal, snaps back. Here you can look at any state and find out the information you want about every state. Here's Missouri, called the Show Me State, because its people have a reputation for believing only what they see. Its name is an Algonquin Indian name meaning River of the Big Canoes, Missouri. Now, I'm Algonquin Indian, in case you didn't know. I have parts Algonquin in me. I'm an American, of course, but I have a small relative, distant relative who is an Algonquin Indian. And unlike Elizabeth Warren, I did not get money to go to college claiming I was Algonquin. I'm not. I've never had money from resources like affirmative action. So she should clearly be charged with a crime. I'm surprised Trump hasn't charged her with a crime. But here's a picture of a Native American Algonquin from that time period. You can see that his face is very similar to mine. Isn't that interesting? Very similar nose. That's what a very distinctive nose. The nose. This man, David Sponheim, is not an Algonquin Indian. Don't let him fool you. He may have a relative, but that's about it. Kimosabi. Anyway. Thank you. Bye. Oh, and we've got news from all different sides here. Anyway, I don't want to bore you with the news. Hey, we're almost done here. Thank you for coming in and enjoying our evening show. Every day is another experience. Some people say that I am obviously CGI, based on the simple fact that I seem to be getting younger every year. It is odd, I must admit. But I am not CGI, nor am I a robot. Bear in mind, the key to youth is to not be stressed out. Here I was 10 years ago, walking on the beach.
Hi, I'm David John Sponheim. It's been about 100 days since Barack Obama took office as President of the United States. In that time period, he spent close to $3.2 trillion. Money we don't have. Money we won't even have in the next 10 years. And I'm beginning to think that he's not the guy for the job. And if you agree with me, and like many Democrats, I left the Democratic Party because Barack Obama didn't really come across as an honest person to me.
Exactly. And neither does Donald Trump come off as an honest person when he's now reached the 6,000 lie mark. In 2 years, Donald Trump has lied 6,000 times. I highly recommend my use of this fruit enzyme. It's so refreshing, I can't tell you. So, 6,000 lies and we're still rolling, and he's still contending he never colluded, no collusion, no obstruction. It's a case of milady doth protest too much. Obviously, Donald Trump is guilty of obstruction and collusion, and everyone knows it. It's just a matter of time before the whole curtains come down on his BS presidency. So we'll sign off to that note. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. I'll be in the show for 4 hours into the evening, watching videos with you and hanging out, chatting. I have a late night operation. We do videos for 4 hours past the show if you want to hang out and watch them. Always unique and always different than the mainstream media. Absolutely. All right. Signing off. Take care.
Gonna make you feel good, gonna make you feel good, gonna make you mine. Gonna make you feel good, gonna make you feel good, gonna make you mine.
We deserve a better government, one that addresses the real concerns of its people. Now, it seems, so much news is fake, twisting what America stands for. Let's protect our gun rights against media manipulation. Let's get back to what really matters. Secure, safe schools, fencing, and security for our youth, and a clean environment for everyone. Join us nightly as we discuss America's most important concerns at America's Third Party.